booster pack.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Weiss Schwarz BCS 24-25 World Finals with me, Randall, also known as Shizukats.
And me, Ian.
And we're getting into our final round of Swiss. So it's been 5 grueling rounds so far, and now we're going to see 2 more players. One of them is running a deck that we have already seen throughout the tournament, but the other one is running something that we haven't seen yet. So what do we have today?
Yeah, so we have 7 Deadly Sins facing another Bunny Girl deck.
Right. And so 7 Deadly Sins being one of the sets that did recently get restrictions, on top of the restrictions it already had. This is a deck that has been on the decline in popularity, but as we can see here, has proven to still be quite a big threat in the metagame if you just play your cards right.
Yeah, in the end, this deck is playing the Hendrickson combo, and that deck is actually really good at finishing.
Yeah, turns out if you mill a climax off the opponent's deck with that top check 1, it's really, really good. Has a lot of damage potential as well. And just a very strong combo overall, and a really nice adaptation from the player base when they were forced to basically move off of the Escanor.
Yeah, I do think this combo also got a little bit weaker now that the stock swap and the force refresh got restricted. So we'll see how that goes during this game.
Yeah, so we do still see the swap. The stock swap is going to be the card of choice for this particular list, and we do still have the shuffle back ability in the form of the level 2 Hawk. This is actually a set 1 card, so we still have access to that pair of abilities, but it's going to be at a much higher cost.
Yes.
Okay, and then on the Rascal side, I'm pretty sure this is just a fairly normal...
Yep, a very traditional 8 combat Rascal deck.
Yeah. All right, so... with that being said, I think we are pretty good to send it over to our guys at the game table and get this game started. Round 6.
Yes, so on our left we have Jose Alemar from Spain playing 7 Deadly Sins, and on our right we have Finsepser. That's one of my friends from the Netherlands, who's playing the Rascal Doesn't Dream series. Usually, Cherish, so Finsepser, I've been playing other decks than Rascal Doesn't Dream.
Oh, so this was like a recent pickup.
Yeah, it was basically just like picking the best deck in format kind of thing, because before he was playing what's the deck called again? Chainsaw Man?
Chainsaw Man, okay.
Yeah.
This deck kind of has a similar feel. You get to send a bunch of cards from the bottom of the opponent's deck to the waiting room and look for climaxes.
Yeah, pretty much. And like back in the old days, he was playing AOT too.
Okay. Not a fantastic opener here. Okay, never mind. That just got quite a bit better on the Bunny Girl side, picking up a level 0 Shoko, picking up the level 1 Climax, and Vincenter is going first. So Vincenter will be able to use that level 0 Shoko to great effect on turn 1. This Shoko is a 0/1500, but if you have 4 or more cards in hand, then on the opponent's turn, she gains an additional 1500 power and +1 level, and is a chaser. So very, very obnoxious card. If your opponent puts anything lower than 3k onto the front line, you just run right in front, and your opponent has to deal with it. They probably have to front into it, too.
And one of the strong things I'm seeing on the recent runners and chasers is that they also have like an ability to sack themselves for additional utility. So in this case, it's like you can put this and another card from your hand in the waiting room to salvage another character, which is great utility for something that tends to survive through to level 1.
Yeah. On Jose's side here, he's looking at this level 0 Meliodas in his hand, thinking to himself, how do I deal with this? So the level 0 Meliodas in the hand has the ability, when it reverses the opponent's character, you can choose one of your other characters and rest it and move it to back row. Typically, you would like to use this to basically preserve a card that you want to use for next turn by moving it to the back row. But the problem is that this Shoko is not going to allow it to reverse easily.
Yeah, the awkward thing about these chaser profiles is that you're basically forced to only do 1 attack. So like, right now he can just only field the Escanor to clear the Shoko, but I think he really just wants to have 2 stock.
Yeah, so the Escanor is a level 0 character, and it is a stock bomb where it can send an opponent's character to stock based on the number of copies of itself in your waiting room. So if you have 1 copy, you can stock bomb level 1 or lower characters. If you have 2 copies, He can stock bomb level 2 or lower characters, and so forth. But he doesn't have any copies in waiting room right now, so it's a level 0 bomb. The Shoko gains a level during the opponent's turn, so he's being forced to side attack here with the Escanor.
Side attacking into a level 1 doesn't feel great.
Just do no damage.
Mm-hmm.
And Vinceptor even choosing not to clock here. Just didn't even clock. Instead going to use this level 0 Mai to search the deck for a level 1 combo. On play, pay 1, clock top card of your deck, search for a level 1 or lower.
That's also a way to clock.
Yeah, right. Instead of clocking a card from hand and drawing 2 random cards off the top, we decided to use 1 stock in order to secure a specific card from our deck.
Mm-hmm.
Although, he could have done both.
Yeah, he could have done both.
Yeah. What do we have in the hand in terms of third attacker? We have a level 0 Mai that can send herself to memory on reverse to salvage character. The funny thing here is that that level 0 yellow Mai is the only thing that can beat over the level 0 lane in the middle. Because it's 1500. The other 2 zeros that Vinceptor has are also 1500. They would have to tie.
Mm-hmm.
Which I honestly don't think is too bad.
Wait, is this Shoko also level 1 during his own turn, or
No.
is it just going to be...
This is just gonna get bombed. I think another line that we could have potentially seen here is you use the red Mai, the Riki effect, to tie center lane and then go to memory.
Mm-hmm.
And then you use this yellow Mai to run over the Escanor and just forfeit the salvage. And then it allows the Shoko to stay alive and roam free throughout the front row with the chaser effect.
Yeah, especially since this one is going to memory anyway, it feels like it might have been nice to keep the Shoko around. 7 Deadly Sins still on level 0, also deciding not to clock.
Brainstorm hits 1. What will we see off of the salvage here? Now that the level 0 Mai is the only character in the front row, Jose can safely go for that level 0 Meliodas play. I imagine we will see a level 0 Elizabeth being salvaged off of this, placed in the front row because it can then be moved to the back row with the Meliodas effect. And then you can go for double combo using the one in the front and the one in the back. Or
there's another one in hand, so that it's going to be a triple combo.
Could you just frontline both of these combos and then frontline the Meliodas and attack with those 3, you think?
Yeah, I would imagine so. There's no real counters on the Bunny Girl side that you need to keep into account, I think. So
I think so we have Climax Swap in hand and a copy of the Gate Climax. I think the play is just going to be to play the stock Soul for Elizabeth this turn and then follow up with the Climax Swap. Oh, we still need to pay that out. Right.
I think he was shortly considering maybe using the Climax Swap to pay it out, but maybe no copies of the stock Soul in grave yet. Oh, and just using the Climax Swap as an additional attacker.
Mm-hmm. So this Meliodas won't be getting quite as much value since both of the back row slots are clogged. We're going to be going into the Elizabeth combo. When you play the Stock Soul Climax, you mill 1, salvage a character of equal or lower level. Those of them are both level 2 events, so we can salvage level 2 or lower characters. Going to grab 2 copies of the Lost Vein Meliodas, which is the main level 1 plan, into Goddess Amber being milled. Not a very common card, but a level 3, allowing you to salvage a level 3 or lower character. So what does this Goddess Amber event do?
So, Goddess Amber, I think it puts itself in memory and also puts an opponent's card in memory, right? Opponent's level 3 or lower?
I don't think it sent itself to memory, but it's definitely removal.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't put itself in memory. It's just you just have a play condition that you need to have a Britannia character. Mm-hmm. And then you can put any card from your opponent's side of the board in memory if they're level 3 or lower. This includes the back row, but I don't think there's that many cards that you really care about in a Bunny Girl matchup that you would want to put in memory.
Help them.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some other cards in the metagame right now, such as like maybe some big supports in Nino Quintessential Quintuplets, or potentially also your opponent's Modernia in the Nikkei matchup. You could send it to memory before they can send it to memory. We're taking out so much damage.
all the way up to 1-3 already.
Side attacking the Mai to deny the access to the waiting room. So I guess if you were planning on side attacking that Mai anyways, then it makes sense that you would just park 2 Brainstorms in the back row and not leave an open slot to try to get any value off of the Meliodas' effect to move to back row.
Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure how long are you going to side attack this Mai for if he just keeps putting it on front row?
Free +1.
Yeah.
Every turn.
I don't think he would really mind too much.
I think maybe he just wanted to deny him access to 1 copy of level 1 combo.
Yeah. Especially this turn, it matters quite a bit. But every following turn, maybe not anymore.
Mm-hmm. Seeing the Kaide Brainstorm for each Climax salvage. No Climaxes hit. We're probably going to be seeing the 2 copies of my level 1 hit the board. Maybe Sakuta level 1 being placed in the back row. In my opinion, though, I think if you were going to play the Sakuta at all during the turn, I think you should play it first before you Brainstorm, because then you could pay out the level 0 Futaba with the Brainstorm, keep it in rotation, allowing you to keep sending it back to stock on future copies of Sakuta.
Yeah, exactly.
So instead, that particular copy of Futaba is probably going to be out of commission for a bit.
Yeah.
Level 1 combo, top check 3. The ability to add any type of card to your hand with this effect is exceptionally strong. Oh. And then since we have the level 0 Mai in memory, we will be able to trigger twice, and then the top card of stock is going to go to waiting room after. Really nice that it was on the second trigger rather than the first, so it immediately gets paid out. And we're going to follow it up with the Kaide's effect to top check.
There's so many triggers happening at the same timing. It's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
Canceling.
Especially once you add in more cards that activate when you trigger climaxes, such as the 2-1 assist Mai. Things can get pretty wonky. It's like you resolve your triggers and you're like, okay, hold on. I need to resolve this and this and this.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to give a bunch of power. I need to check both players' decks and things like that. I think the level 1 bomb Mai to hand off this one.
No combat triggers this time around.
Damage-wise, Jose's in a really good position, though. Cancel the first attack, and then at most you're probably going to be at 1-3, maybe at the end of this turn. 1-2 is definitely a more likely... Oh, no. There's one of the few triggers in these Bunny Girl decks coming up. Alright, so 1-3.
Okay, so 1-3 versus 1-4. It's pretty close. I do think this kind of matchup is pretty much a damage race. 7 Deadly Sins does have a lot more triggers.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine that Finceptor would be behind a little bit on damage usually.
Okay, so we know that there is a climax in stock and 2 climaxes in hand. We drew a third copy of Lost Vein, so if we want we could commit all 3 of these to the front row, just be our front row attackers. You probably just not clock, not brainstorm. Actually no, if you brainstorm you mill 2. What is the play here, you think, in terms of how you manage the climaxes that are in your stock?
You kind of want to discard that last climax as well. And what positions are they in stock again?
I believe the triggered gate from the previous turn was on the second trigger, I believe. So it's the second from the top. If I remember correctly. I might be wrong on that.
Maybe it's just just clock, climax swap, get another stock soul for the next turn, and then brainstorm the last few cards away. Does not look like he's going for that line.
See, here's the weird thing now that we're at 2 cards in deck is that if you play Climax now, one of the Elizabeths is going to mill a card into Waiting Room, and then you're not going to have anything in Waiting Room to salvage from. What are we doing here?
So we are overplaying one of them, so...
What is that?
I don't know. I'm a little bit confused about this play.
Huh. I guess Jose did not want the second mill to go through off of the Elizabeth combo, maybe wanting to trigger it, but at the same time, like, what is the idea here? It's not even detrimental to the stock soul because you could order it in such a way that you mill one and salvage off an Elizabeth, then you could get the stock
soul,
and then mill, and then that second mill just happens to be just nothing, right?
Yeah.
All right, Lost
Maybe he
Vein.
knows the last card? No.
So Lost Vein Meliodas is a 1045. Gains 500. As long as you have another copy of itself in your front row, gains 500 for each of your other Britannia characters, and on attack, choose trigger from the top two. And on play, you can discard one to search your deck for another copy of itself and put it on stage. Now, we do already have 3 copies here, so not needing to use that effect. And these are going to be 6/5 moving forward. So, or not 6/5. There's an open slot in the back row. They will be 6K moving forward.
Yeah. Either way, mine will be big enough to contest it, usually. Even without our climax combo, I guess. It was, say, getting a stock soul as refresh damage.
Bit unlucky here. It's not like he needed to get a stock soul into waiting room anyway for like a climax swap, because you could just climax swap into the one that was already in play. Looks like 6 climaxes going back with 1 on the board right now.
And also leveling up to 2 on the right.
Yeah, off his refresh point.
After refresh. I'm kind of not sure in which position I would rather want to be here.
Between the 2 players?
Yeah.
I think for me, it depends on whether or not the Bunny Girl player has a copy of the 2-1 event in hand, which he doesn't. The 2-1 event is a really great card for allowing you to set up your future memory plays, in addition to also sending itself to memory. So that is a card that typically you want to see in your hand at level 2, and it's a big reason why people run it at 4 copies. We're sliding the level 0 again.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, if you want to crash it right now, you do give another plus to to Jose. So I can kind of see it sliding in this position.
So it's kind of like a game of chicken then. It's like,
yeah.
Do you want your memory? If you do, you have to give up one of your lanes to my Lost Vein. But I'm doing the same to you. That's a lot of climaxes in hand. So we have at least 2 level 1 climaxes, and I'm not sure what the third one is that was there. I think that's a level 3 climax though.
So maybe we can fish out another one of the level 1 combo. Or are we actually going for the Kaide early play?
Yeah, old card from set 1. Oh, that's another climax off the top check. So it's a 4 or more early play healer. And then on play, you reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a level 1 or lower, including climaxes, it goes to stock. So we are refunding half the cost here, but
we're spending it directly on a brainstorm.
Yeah, I gotta pay that out now.
I mean, I think you're perfectly fine with that.
Hitting nothing. So I believe that means Vinceptor is out 6.
Yeah. I don't think this is an ideal situation for Vinceptor. He did end up overpaying the level 0 Mai. So in the end, giving up the game of chicken.
Yeah, the thing is that in terms of Vinceptor's card economy, Vinceptor is going negative in card economy because he played over a character, right?
Yeah, but he got a free plus anyway because he got sided into, right?
Yeah. But also on the flip side, switching to this Mai, it will allow reversing of the opposing Lost Vein Meliodas because it is a level 1 reverser. And the other change, although it is a bit more minor, I guess, is that the level 1 Mai is a search effect when it gets reversed, while the level 0 Mai is a salvage, so you change the zone that you're able to dig from.
Being able to salvage sounds a little bit better here, though. So it's
the big waiting room?
Yeah. Although, maybe it's nice being able to compress by searching.
So after those two triggers, going to resolve Kaede, mill 1. I don't know.
Are there 2 cards left on deck or 3? Or maybe more.
I would hope there's at least 3. Yeah, there's at least 3. Yeah. Now the thing is with the top check from the Kaede, he could have left that event on top in order to ensure a clean trigger, but he decides to mill it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting.
I think he's working towards a refresh. And finally being able to rid one of the climaxes in hand by paying for this drop search also helps a lot.
Probably get rid of the extra level 1 climax, yeah. And then hold on to the level 3 climax for your finisher.
Oh, he still has 5 cards in the deck and all of them are clean.
Okay, yeah, so then it makes sense that he would mill the card there off of the Kaede Brainstorm if there was no climax left. Going to be grabbing the level 0 that can send itself to memory to top check 2, add a card.
Still haven't seen any events yet, right? In his hand.
Not in hand. We did just see 2 that were either triggered or milled. So one of them was triggered on the level 1 combos attack, went to waiting room, and then we saw it milled off the Kaede Brainstorm as well.
I was going to say, only take 1 damage in total this turn?
I think he took a little bit more than that, I think, no? Yeah, I think he took 3 damage, because he was at 1-4 when the climax was on top of clock, right?
I think I had him at 1-6, but maybe just mistracked a little bit. Did not hit both of the brainstorms. I wonder how much he was relying on hitting the brainstorms here. Because all of his level 1 Meliodas are already played out, so
yeah,
I imagine it's gonna be kind of hard to contest the level 1.
Time to just play dudes. Small dudes.
It's very small dudes. It does look like he has 3 level 0s, but definitely not the level 0s he was looking to play.
Salvaging a level 2 so level 2 or lower off of this level 0 Meliodas.
That does help a lot.
And pitch the gate climax. So going to be trying to get that back later once we get into an actual finisher turn.
Yeah. It shouldn't be too hard to get another gate climax because Hendrickson also checks top 3 anyway. So holding on to it too long will just only be a liability for your compression.
What are we grabbing here? Is it just going to be another copy of the Brainstorm to go for a triple combo? I feel like that's reasonable if you're planning to just chump all 3 lanes anyway. You just go for another combo.
Yeah, I think he might have been counting the amount of level 1 Meliodases to make sure that there might or might not be another copy left.
I like how we're rearranging the top 2 here with the Climax swap when they're just going to all get milled right now anyways. That's always the funny thing when you play the Climax swap into an Elizabeth. It's like, oh, top check 2 rear, and they're gone.
Let me think about this one.
Fake decisions. So the first 2 are going to be a level 0 Hendrickson, which can spawn a level 0 or a cost 0 from the deck of your level or lower. A second copy of the Hendrickson, and then also the Elaine Brainstorm.
But aren't these level 0 Hendricksons mostly like early game pieces? How come he's getting them right now?
I'm not sure. I think maybe what the line of play here behind that is if he's able to stick a lot of damage this turn, because he's recognizing that Vince Hector's out a lot of climaxes, right? So if he knows he's going to stick a lot of damage this turn, maybe he wants to potentially go for follow-up for a finisher turn on the immediate next turn. So grabbing 2 copies of Hendrickson will allow him to clock himself twice, potentially level up, and then just start firing off Hendricksons to go for the kill on the next turn.
Yeah.
That is what I think.
It sounds so risky, though, to clock yourself all the way up from like 2-4 to level 3 to go for a finishing turn.
I think the other tricky thing about that line is that he just got rid of his gate climax, so he would have to re-find it. So if you clock yourself twice, level up to 3, start playing Hendrickson, and you don't find the climax, you look like such an idiot.
Yeah, but I assume you wouldn't commit to that line if you don't have the climax already.
Oh, I mean, he just discarded one off of the level 0.
Oh, yeah.
Off the level 0 Meliodas.
That's so much stock, though. You don't even need that much stock, right? I guess for stock swap plus triple. Inceptor at 2-5. Can we cancel this one?
Side attack here.
Side attacking for one, so all the way it's at 2-6 right now. He might go to level 3, but is that something you want to be doing?
Yeah, honestly, like when I play my games and like I get rid of my finisher climax from like a pretty mid game standpoint, and then I just don't find it back later. I mean, like I just feel like such a goofball whenever I do that. And then typically for the rest of the tournament after that, it's going to be like, oh, I have my level 3 climax. I'm going to hold on to this for dear life. I think I feel like every Weiss player has done that at some point. That's like a pretty relatable thing, no?
Yeah, but I've also done the opposite when I have a gate trigger in my deck and like, okay, I'm holding on to my finish and then I trigger like 3 gate triggers. I'm like, yeah, I should have discarded it.
Yeah. Alright, so let's hope for Jose here that when we eventually do go to level 3 that we are able to find a copy of that gate climax. Now the thing is that the climax swappers have... Well, no, there's still one in hand, right? Because only one of them got played this turn.
Mm-hmm.
So any climax could be live to swap to.
Yeah, and he also has the lane brainstorm anyway, so...
Oh, we've got a lot of ways to get to the climax.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jose is in a very confident position to be able to try to... Yeah, I think he probably want to try to go for the kill next turn, to be completely honest.
Killing from 2-6 from here... I think it'll depend a little bit on how many climaxes are getting triggered. Even healing down to 2-5 now.
Mm-hmm.
The classic reveal climax off the top with Kaede.
Yeah.
I wonder if you even brainstorm that out. It doesn't really matter. You're not going to refresh anymore in this turn.
Well, maybe not this turn, but let's consider what happens if Jose does go to level 3 on his next turn. Because then that climax might matter if you end up taking enough damage or have enough damage potential to go through the rest of your deck. You might actually want that climax in your next deck rotation.
By leaving it in, you play around the stock swap, though.
True. True.
And it does look like he's not paying it out, triggering in another climax.
Trigger another one.
That's definitely not what you want to be seeing here. No climax combo this turn.
Oh,
right?
whoa. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's what he did. He, for the second trigger, he put it directly into the waiting room instead of like flipping it like he would for a trigger and then put it in the waiting room. So I was a little bit confused there for a sec.
Wasn't it just resolving the Kaide or the... What's her name again?
The Mai's twin drive. The level 0 Mai that was milled was resolving that, but there was a Futaba that was sent from the deck to the waiting room right before that.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just the way he put it into waiting room. I thought it might have been... maybe he mistook it for the Kaide Brainstorm.
Mm-hmm.
But that was not the case. That was just the second trigger.
I wonder what they're thinking about right now. He passes?
He's saying if you want to go to 3, you got to do all the work yourself.
Wait, but can you even finish from here with only 5 stock? If you're Vinceptor?
So the maximum that Vinceptor can go for here with
Double,
this amount of stock
right?
is double, and then you can get the 4th memory. In order to go up to triple Mai from this position, you would need to get 3 more stock, which is not very likely. You need to have 3 Sakutas.
But how likely is it to kill from 2-4?
with
Like,
double? I mean, it's possible.
double.
It's possible. I wouldn't say it's likely, but it's definitely possible.
I can imagine you just don't go for the finish this turn, right? Or is he going for the finish?
Oh, is he trying to refresh himself with Brainstorm?
Refresh himself, then double Hendrickson level 0?
I think so. So we're grabbing the what is it called? The Great Fairy King's Forest, I think, something like that. It's just Fairy King's Forest. So 2-0 event. It sends itself to memory, and you get to salvage a character. Alternatively, you can set it to stock.
Stock, yeah.
Yeah, you can set it to stock. I don't think stock is going to be necessary here. I think it's more going to be just using those to retain cards in hand that you can pitch off of the Hendricksons, and then you're going to be able to... There's plenty of stock here, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So
That's
with 10 stock... With 10 stock, you can do 2 Summon Rickies. That would clock you twice. And then it would also get through the other 2 cards of the deck in order to force the refresh. Clock here. You just need to have a target. Oh, everything's a target.
Mm-hmm.
So, play that. And then here comes the second Hendrickson. Going to use that to clock. And then after refresh point, go to level 3. And then triple Hendrickson.
How much do you think Vinseptor is out right now? I think we did see a lot of triggers, so maybe it makes sense to finish from this position.
I believe Vinseptor's out. Well, he's out at least 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're just saving a stock. We're not even going for... Yeah, if we're going to play over the... Actually, no, because we have to play the Hendrickson no matter what at some point in order to get the second clock.
Yeah. Another Hendrickson. Clocking himself to level 3. Did find a climax in his refresh point.
Yeah. I mean, the idea is that it's not going to matter too much if you just win the game here, right?
Yeah.
We're grabbing another Elaine Brainstorm. So this Elaine Brainstorm, very unique card. It sacrifices a character on stage rather than paying 1 stock for its Brainstorm effect, which allows you to just convert random bodies you have laying around on your board. Just a really, really strong card. Lets you also just like go through your deck without having to pay any stock, like you would with a lot of other cards. All right, here we go.
I think I saw 3 climaxes left in the deck on Jose's side, so I do think he's trying to mill through it a little bit somehow. Hendrickson top check resolving.
I think for a sec there, he just changed his mind about which character he wanted to play over with the first Hendrickson. Top check up to 3.
Not enough stock left for the stock swap in addition to the combo, but I don't think the stock swap is that great here anyway.
I think we're going to go for the top check off of the Hendrickson, and then go for 1 Brainstorm to try to add that final card to hand. Alright, now we need 1 Brainstorm to get 1 last card. And this leaves us with 1 stock left at the start of attacks. Yep, there we go. Hit 2, salvage 2. Gonna salvage a Climax swap. You could honestly even, because you hit 2, you could play the Climax swap here in the back row over one of the Brainstorms just to have the top check information.
Yeah. I don't know if it matters too much though right now. Top check information. I guess you also don't need cards next turn if you're going that all in.
I think it potentially creates side attack opportunities into these 2 level 1 characters that Vinseptor has on board.
And there's a trigger on the second one. Even a gate trigger. So you can end up discarding that one as well. Or
for the cost of the third one, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so this Hendrickson going to front attack, on attack, pay 1, discard 2, look at the top card of your opponent's deck, leave it there, or send it to waiting room. We're going to leave it there, so it's not a climax. Burn 4. 4 is going to stick.
Taking the 4 damage. That is going to hurt.
5 damage away from death, but I feel like we're gonna reach refresh on this turn. So it might even be only 4 away from death. Have we even done the attack? We haven't done the attack. For 3? Okay, cancel.
We did find a cancel here. That's a good thing.
Second copy.
We have to cancel this one.
No ditch 2. Leave it there. Burn for 4.
Oh no!
Uh-oh. I mean, if he just gets through the rest of the deck here, then it's just over, right?
Yeah.
You just take refresh. Swing for 4. Was this a side attack? Looks like it might have been a side attack.
There's 4 cards left in the deck.
And the final Hendrickson, even if these 2 cancel...
If they cancelled on the second and third card,
they would have
even then it wouldn't have been there.
Yeah, they would have to cancel exactly the top 2 cards, but the problem is that the top check, if there is a climax in the top card, then the Hendrickson would just send it to waiting room.
Yeah, exactly. So it has to be the second and third card, and then the fourth card you draw off of your draw step. So
yeah, so from that position with 2 climaxes left in deck, it was just all over.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the smart play by Jose was salvaging those level 0 Hendricksons, recognizing that there is opportunities to like level myself up here. Usually you don't see people level boosting themselves like nearly that much.
Yeah, it was a very aggressive play and it definitely paid off here. I think especially because Finceptor ended up triggering a little bit too many climaxes, it was a perfect situation to actually go for this aggressive line. But he did Jose did perfectly set himself up for these kinds of situations to take advantage of the opponent's bad luck.
And I do think that it was, given the options that he had in his hand, the climax swap and the lane brainstorm, I do think that definitely it's more often than not, it's going to be fine discarding the copy of that gate climax. You have plenty of opportunities to try to get it or another climax if you get a Stockstill to climax swap to later on, and then really prioritizing, I guess kind of getting into the opponent's head. What does the opponent not want him to do? Go to level 3 and try to kill me this turn. So you recognize, if I get these Hendricksons, I can do exactly that.
Yeah. Maybe also the fact that Finceptor ended up only attacking once kind of already signaled that he really did not want his opponent to go for the finish there.
Right.
Maybe there were more climaxes in his hand or something that were not public information, but kind of got signaled through that, making him want to go for the finish even more at that point.
Yeah. The thing is that, so from that position, he knew that his opponent had 2 cards to clock himself with, and then could potentially mill through the deck with the Elaine Brainstorm, which he also knew he got because he salvaged all 3 of those the previous turn. Yeah, I mean, it really was just caught between a rock and a hard place. You never want to be in that position against Hendrickson, really. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I did feel like 2-5 was reasonably safe, but maybe not with that current compression that Finceptor was sitting on.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate with the triggers, really.
Yeah.
And it just kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier in other Bunny Girl games, how that level 1 combo can tend to become a liability since the double trigger is mandatory. So just kind of an unfortunate circumstance of that card.
Yeah.
I think if it was like a regular, if you had an option to do like a regular pay 1 twin drive with this card, we would be so in there.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, mandatory. We do trigger a lot of climaxes in that deck, and that is just an unfortunate reality. So any final thoughts about this particular game?
No further thoughts, but one thing to note is that with this, Jose will probably be hitting top 8 after this. So I don't know exactly how many wins he was currently, but it was at table 2. So I hope Cherish Finceptor will also make it into top 8, but we'll see.
All right. With that being said, we're going to head into our last interview in just a moment, so we'll see you guys right back with that. Bye.
Bye-bye.
And welcome back. We are here with our round 6 winner, Jose Alamar. First of all, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Yeah, we were definitely admiring some of the lines of play that you went for in that game, particularly the triple combo into salvaging the double Hendrickson with the Elaine, being able to give yourself that option to go to level 3. So we were a big fan of that play.
In some point, I saw that I wouldn't have a compression deck time in that game. So I saw the line go level 3 first and kill him.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect him to take the 4 damage in the
the last 4 cards of the deck, right?
Exactly. It was like okay, I am healthy, so if he want to combo, I'm okay. But the next tour he didn't try to combo me, so I have all the resources to go to level 3. I went to level 3 from 2-3, I think.
You clocked for turn, played the 2 Hendricksons, and then you refresh yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It was really hard, but I didn't spend any resource the last tour in brainstorm because I knew that maybe I will need it. So it paid off.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of like getting into your opponent's head, like knowing what they don't want you to be doing.
Yeah.
They don't want you to be going to level 3, so you're like, all right, I'm going to just do it myself.
Exactly. I had 1 little Hendrickson, but I knew that I will need a second one. So I pick it in the combo.
So now at the end of round 6, so we weren't actually aware of like the records of the individual players that were on stream. So what was your record at the end of the day?
5-1.
5-1?
Yeah, I lost versus May. Versus the other rascal that I think that almost everyone is playing that deck.
A lot of people are playing that deck. Yeah.
I don't know the exact distribution, but I thought that we will see more Nike. More Nike.
Yeah, I definitely was expecting to see more Nike as well. So we know that it was about, I think, 10% of the room is Nike.
Okay.
And so I was also expecting more.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that being said, hopefully you will make it into top 8 and we can see you later on in the rounds.
Okay.
And so we'll be looking forward to that. So best of luck to you. And
thank you very much.
And if you are in top 8, then yeah, good luck on the rest of your games.
Thank you so much.
All right. So real quick, before we go to break, we do have one more trivia question for the people in chat. We do have a couple more later down the line, so this is not all we're going to have for the day. Our next trivia question is, how many black little goats can you legally put into a single deck of Nazarick? This is a question that we have answered already throughout the day as we had a Nazarick feature match earlier on. So if you guys were watching, then you guys should already know this